not used to that. Bring it back to you, girlfriend.
I think, should I turn it in a little more?
Well, and this is like when we talk, it's just us talking.
Right.
It's not even like people are here.
Right.
The only time you actually look at the camera is to your hair.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, beautiful.
I just literally washed it and blew it out. It was one of those days, you know, when you just have you blow your own hair out and you're like, I think we're okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
beautiful.
but it's not sprayed. Oh, thank you.
It looks good. Ah, you got this.
Going live on Instagram. Hold on. One. Union sound.
This is nothing. This stage is nothing for you.
It's different though when you're talking.
True.
It's fun.
All right, here's the live right now. There it is. All right, when Victoria says go.
Welcome to Purpose. I'm your host, Brittany Zonker, in this beautiful studio in West Hollywood, California. Today, I have with me a former backup dancer from some major artists and stars, Janet Jackson, Debbie Gibson, and Prince, to name a few. Welcome to my show, Cynthia Davila Zarnecki.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course,
I know it's a lot to say, right?
It was. I was like, gotta get this name right, first of all, to kick off the show.
Thank you
Is
so
that
much.
a married name?
Yes, that's
Okay.
Yes.
So your identity all growing up was Davila?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
And how long have you been married?
We've been married now 13 years.
Whoa!
Yeah.
That's something to celebrate.
Right? It's rare in this town, that's for sure.
True, but you have good values and you work hard.
Yes,
So
yes.
you can work at anything.
I got really lucky. No, he's an amazing guy.
Wonderful.
I got really lucky.
So take me back to your dance days. You started dancing when you were how old?
7
7
years old. Yeah, we. I think I finally was asking my mom, can we get to dance classes? Especially after watching, for years a lot of musicals with, Judy Garland and Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers, Gene Kelly. I mean, I just was immersed in music and dance in my household. So.
And running around the kitchen, dancing,
Yes, with the
singing.
hairbrush. Yes.
Oh yeah, we know the hairbrush days, girl. I did too.
With our little recorders back then, because this is definitely a way back.
Back in the day.
Exactly.
Okay, so you started 7 dancing, and what did you study? Was it
So,
ballet,
ballet and tap? No,
Okay.
ballet and tap. This was so early 80s still, a little studio in Lomita, California. I'm originally from the South Bay.
Yeah.
So my first teacher was a member of the Royal Ballet back in England, Anna Rockett. So I had kind of the best of both worlds with her, and she really gave me a foundation to just, keep going, really keep going. So.
That's a Rockette. I would feel like I'd need to get my leg kicks
Yeah.
practice like every day. I'd be at home like,
Right, but the crazy thing is she would actually teach ballet sometimes in her high heels, and she was about 5'10". She was just long legs and gorgeous, but I can still see her now even at the bar explaining pliés and everything in her high heels. It was fabulous. It was fabulous.
And would you emulate that? Would you go home and practice in the heels too, or you were just little girl?
Actually, I did put the heels on, but it was because back then, pageants were something that it was kind of something I think at that time in the late 70s, 80s that we would have more on television. So just seeing all the glamour with hair and makeup and clothes and stuff. Oh yeah. We went into Mom's closet and took her heel and would come down the stairs and have, have our own little world going. But
moments.
Until we fell.
Yeah, but hey, kids need to fall sometimes to get back up, right?
Exactly.
At that young age, did you know that dance was going to be your purpose, or was it more of just a passion?
I think it was a passion, but I think by the time I got to West Hollywood on a junior scholarship in '86, I think I knew something's here, and I wanted to pursue it as far as I could go. I really did.
That's a big deal to get a scholarship.
Yeah, I mean, it was, talk about, just imagine seeing Fame, the television series. It was literally, LA version though. It was literally like that though, where you will literally get a number and you just pin it on yourself. There's people everywhere. You're stretching, you've got your gear, and it's literally your number. You come in. All right, so I don't know, 50 through 82, come in, and then learn the combo, From there, they'll start switching lines. From there, they'll say, okay, break you in groups, and then they start cutting. It's
ruthless.
It really
it's
is.
Just like, yeah.
Yeah, so already they're like, okay, you better have some thick skin if you wanna, if you really, really wanna do this.
And a lot of people don't know the audition process for dance. So let's take it back just a little bit. So you were a child, you learned how to dance, and then you earned a scholarship by doing that tough audition process.
Correct.
So you go in a room, whether
Yes.
it's for a scholarship or a tour, whatever your movie, whatever you're auditioning for.
Correct.
And take us through what you do.
So basically, the good thing with auditioning for a dance scholarship kind of prepared what it's like to have to go to a real audition. At 13, there was a group of us on junior scholarship at the time that were signed with Julie McDonald, who in the 80s was the only agent at the time. Like, she's still Paula Abdul. She's responsible for Kenny Ortega. She's responsible for a lot of artists that have just taken their dance career and have just gone all the way with it. But you basically, once you were signed, then it's, you know, the pictures, the resumes, the whole submission. You get your call, you go in, again, you get your number, you'll have to slate your name and your age and where you're from. And
so you don't know any choreography that they're going to do. It's from scratch.
It is from scratch. Sometimes you're going to walk in there and sometimes they won't even give you choreography. They'll say freestyle. That's happened sometimes.
And do they give you a song, or you have to freestyle without music?
There's been times, I want to say it, I think there was at least one time where there was no music.
No
They
way.
just want
That's
you to
so...
move. Sometimes, 9 times out of 10, you're never going to know the song. I did have to audition for one major artist, and they put a compilation on of her music. It was Tina Turner.
Okay.
And
Which you got, right?
I did.
Yes.
Well, that was really scary because she was in the room while I was auditioning for her. Talk about completely out-of-body experience. I had to learn 2 numbers from the previous tour in '93 that she had done with the other dancers that were on the tour before. They were also helping me through this audition. But we did the 2 numbers, I learned it, and she said, no, I just want to see her move. So I was fine, but she wanted more. So then they put a compilation, and I had no idea what song was coming on. I didn't know when it was going to stop, and I just had to keep going.
Dance.
It was like 5 minutes. It felt like 5 minutes to 10 minutes of nonstop going.
It would feel like a lifetime to me dancing. Like Tina Turner's watching you.
It did, and that's where when I was done, I just stood to the back and I looked at Karen and Sharon. I said, like, they're like, yeah, I think. And I'm just literally standing there, like going, okay. Next thing you know, she starts talking about hair and what the look's going to be for the tour. So I think in that moment, I kind of felt a little like, I think we're good.
Yes.
But you never want to, you know, not until you see a contract, or not until
not until you're on the stage.
Right, not until you get the official hug and gesture from the artist. So
that's a huge compliment
yeah,
to your dance.
Crazy.
Crazy. What is it like going on tour with these major artists?
It was, well, the first person, like I mentioned, it was Debbie Gibson, who actually gave me my first break. So I was emancipated younger, again, for my career, nothing to do with the family. It just, again, that group of us that were so young, we got signed. We were ready. We were kind of hanging with the young 20-year-olds, mid-20s, and 30-year-olds. We were running circles around some of them. And we'd get to the end, and then, of course, then they said, well, how old are you? I'm 15. Okay, no. You need to come back when you're 18. So fast forward, yeah. So Debbie gave me the first break. And that was a big experience. I don't know if you remember, MTV used to have Rock in Rio.
Rock in Rio days.
Rock in Rio days, yeah.
Rio
so that, to be in a crowd of, like the audience, I think that night we had about 120,000 people. At that age, that's a lot. You're just overwhelmed. Then moving forward to Janet was just, again, it's like exactly, how do I even find the words? The good thing was the group of us that were on tour with the Janet tour, we were all around the same age. So we ranged from 18 to 25 to 27. So it was a really tight-knit group. But it was, again, you're never really prepared. You're never really prepared until you're in it.
How do you, when a world tour ends, are you free to tour with anyone else, or are you under contract with that artist for a while?
Well, for us, and I think too, every artist probably has a different set of contracts. I know with us, of course, if we were on a break, it didn't interfere with her job, her tour. Of course, you're free, and that's what we would do. The good thing with Janet was, at that time, we would go out for a certain amount of weeks, and then we'd have a break, and then go back out again for another chunk, and then come home for a break. So the good thing was, you were still able to see your family, you know, even though you're in this crazy bubble. We had a chance to come home every now and then to kind of check in with reality, and yeah, and like you just mentioned, able to work and do some other stuff at the same time.
So we have Tina Turner.
Yes.
We have Prince.
Yes, Prince,
That's insane.
tell me about it. I never, ever in my wildest dreams ever thought that I would ever have a chance to work with him. And that opportunity oddly came first in a dream. It was probably about a year before working with him. I just one night had a dream that I was in a studio, we were rehearsing, and I just saw him having to move around me. Well, fast forward to an audition. So at this time he was married to Maite. It was for the single called The One. And as we're in rehearsals preparing to shoot the music video, he's literally going in and around us. And just as he passed me, I just said, oh my God, I've seen this. So it really, his standard as well, to work with him was something else.
Was it just a video, or you worked with him further from there?
So when that night, the day of shooting the music video, we still had a few hours to go. He had the choreographer come up and ask me. He said, look, Prince has another job he's going to be doing tomorrow. He really wants you to stay and is asking if you'd stay and do this next gig with him tomorrow night. And I said, are you
like, let me check my
calendar.
calendar.
Yeah, exactly. Let me think about this a
sure.
moment. I don't really know. Are you crazy? So we literally went into rehearsals. After the shoot was done that night, I went into rehearsals with another dancer after midnight. We rehearsed probably to about 2:30 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
He wanted the same look. So for this video, we all had some hair pieces in. It was this very kind of, you know, silk and just a lot of fun hair pieces. Well, his wife said, don't take that out. She's like, leave it in if you can go to sleep. To just deal
The hair piece? What if you try to dance with that thing? That thing could go flying off you.
No, this crew knew how to put hair in, especially with his jobs and stuff. Yes, they knew how to put hair in. So yeah, that was not coming out.
That is.
It almost wasn't coming out the next day after doing the second job with him. So
the job is done. You're like, I'm just gonna wear a hair piece for a couple months.
Yeah, talk about conditioning and letting it sit and going, oh my God.
Yeah, getting it out.
Get this thing out of my hair.
Well, when you work with these big artists, they have their purpose of entertaining the crowd and giving fulfillment and joy to all the people that enjoy their music. What do you feel like your purpose is when you're dancing and helping perform to enhance their purpose?
Well, the first gig and the first point is we're there to support the artists, no matter what. That's the first job. You've got to, it's not about us, it's about them, and it's about making them shine even more. I think that's the biggest things I learned working with the different artists I have, especially, for example, with a bigger group with Janet. It was a uniform group. You can still have your sense of self, but you got to stay contained with the crew. And at the same time, make sure just every night you're given everything like it's the last chance you're going to ever have to perform again. So it's all laid out every night. Every night it's laid out. So artist first to support, and then just giving your best, you know, letting your soul shine through the choreography and live in the moment. It really is, I cannot begin to describe and tell you how incredible it is to get on that stage on a big level like that with music and costumes and set and lighting and pyro, and it's crazy. It really is, but when you plug into it, it's powerful. It's really powerful.
Well, I've had dreams, Cynthia, where I was actually on a stage dancing, and I don't know if your dreams are coming true. I feel like
never say never.
yes, maybe I'm supposed to learn some dance moves from you. Hey, not today, not today. But
no, but never say never. I'm telling you, I think nowadays too, with how social media and times have changed with everything, opportunity really is at your disposal any second you want. I mean, you do not have to have permission from anybody. If you want to do something, you just do it. You just do it.
I agree.
So I think,
and have the positivity and the love and the passion behind it.
absolutely. And I think, you know, the thing is, I think people need to remember, it's great to have all those things, but we're human at the end of the day. It's, you know, you have to still stay authentic. And there is something to be said when someone is going through some challenging times. I think it's beautiful just to share that, if you're willing to share that, because you never know who it's going to affect. And that's the power of the media nowadays.
Well, and speaking of power of the media, I first started following you in August of 2015 through Instagram. And I remember I reached out to you via email, because you can send a direct link. And you were one of the only people that has ever responded in the way that you did. And I want to share something with everybody, because Cynthia has such a big heart. This is the email that she sent back to me. And I just wanted to read for everybody, September 5th of 2015.
That's crazy.
I know, darling. Some of the things you said to me are, I am super big on empowering other with positive quotes, my love of fitness, travel, good food, and moments of what pertains to music, dance, health, and owning oneself. The key I'm finding in all of my posts and on life is being your authentic you. I cannot stress that enough. Keep it classy, focus on the heart of the main message, and come from your heart.
Wow.
That you wrote this, my dear. You wrote that. And I feel
unbelievable.
Through your words and through your Instagram and through your dance, you do come from your heart, and you do have such a purpose and a passion and a positive message to translate through so many people watching you, through your body movement, through your who you are. And I think that's,
you're gonna make me cry.
I almost cried reading that. I was like, you're right. But I think for me, coming from a place of a fan and somebody from respecting your craft, I appreciate what you're trying to do in the community. I appreciate who you are.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think that's the thing is, see, you never know what someone can take from your moments of sharing. And I'm actually floored, because that's 2015. You know, I just always, there's days I have my off days, but the most important thing is I just always try to stay up and stay as positive as I can in challenging times. Wow, I'm sorry, I think I'm a little like
thrown off. No, it's wonderful. Wow. But you're the same person today. How do you transition from being on tour to now what you're working on?
I think well, first and foremost, I've got a strong faith. I've got a strong spiritual, foundation. Number two, I have the most incredible mother and father. Very fortunate to have them still, and they really, especially having such a big generation gap with my mom and dad. My parents were born in the late 30s. I'm born in the early 70s, so do the math. There's a big generation gap there. But they really did try to not only give me opportunity, but to show me, being a good human, being a good daughter, being a good person, and just being respectful and honoring everybody, knowing what no is, having limits and knowing what the limits are, but knowing that limits, you can still go beyond it. Again, earlier as we started the segment, I have an incredible husband, Derek. He's definitely a soul that balances me out, because if you see in my little world, I'm very, when I'm up, I'm usually always up, but my personality, I'm very vocal. I'm the one who's like this. Derek's a lot more chill and laid back, so he's definitely added into my life as far as getting that balance of grounding and being more inward. I think that's the hardest thing is I think especially we feel nowadays we have to put so much of ourselves out, which that's good to do that, but you have to remember to kind of hold some of that back for yourself. That's really it, I think. And then coming with the work, you know, the reality is the opportunities are phenomenal. Life will always give you some amazing moments, but you have to remember the moment is in the moment, and time will keep going on. It doesn't take away from what you did then, but it's having a sense of reality in the realm, especially in the world of entertainment. Right. Because it can be very, very alluring. It can be very, very, it's so shiny, and it is all that stuff. It's exciting. But I think the most important thing is trying to stay as grounded as possible in the process. Right. Period. And there's times you will fall, you know, kind of get a little knocked off your center, and that's okay. It's
that's
normal.
Good to remember. Exactly.
No, it's totally normal. It's sometimes it is good to get knocked off your center, and I don't mean when I say that that doesn't have to be a bad thing. It's still a good thing.
It teaches you character building, and you can come back from anything.
Absolutely.
If people want to continue to share in your purpose, how can they follow you?
Well, just head over to my Instagram. I have been kind of lagging on a couple of other things to go forward and getting a little bit more content out, but I'm definitely gonna have that going a little bit more, but for now, just check in.
And it's just your name, right?
It's just my long name.
Okay, and we'll put it up there for you all to see. Thank you so much for being my guest.
No, thank you so much for having me. I feel very honored to be here.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
As you guys can tell, it doesn't matter what your purpose is, whether it's from dance or any type of other avenue you pursue in your life. Keep it genuine, keep yourself grounded, and continue to work hard on finding your life's purpose. Yes. I am Brittany Zonker for this episode of Purpose.